Okay, so this is the first online lecture you guys are going to be viewing. I want to remind you again that the readings for this week are Knox and Shat, Chapter 3, and that's posted in the same area where you have access to the PowerPoint slides. There are also some posted love exercises if you want to take those. I'll be going over one of them later in this lecture. I'm going to try and speak very slowly so that you have time to take notes while I'm speaking, as opposed to having to pause this video. But as this is the first one, the timing may change somewhat throughout the course. Hopefully it'll get a little slower or better in tune with your guys' note-taking style. Anyway, the lecture today that I'll be presenting on is Beginning Relationships, Love and Intimacy. I just want to go over some quotes with you. They're all kind of about love, and as you know, or maybe you don't, but love has been written about by authors and songwriters for a long time. So Emily Dickinson wrote that love is all there is. Robert Frost wrote that love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. E. Cummings wrote, love is the whole and more than all. Octavio Paz wrote, love is an attempt at penetrating another being, but it can only succeed if the surrender is mutual. Love is most nearly itself when here and now ceases to matter. T.S. Eliot. And even Def Leppard wrote about love as well. Love bites, love bleeds, it's bringing me to my knees. Love lives, love dies, it's no surprise. Love begs, love pleads, it's what I need. So as you can see, love is a pretty common theme in the literature and songwriting. What I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to define love, talk about some conditions for love, go over Sternberg's triangular view of love, and next class period, Dr. Helms is actually going to talk about love as the context for problems. So what is love? Love is difficult to define given our use of the term in the English language. It's really hard to find just one meaning. We talk about loving pizza, our dog, our cars, loving a movie, a child, or our romantic partners, and these all have different meanings. So what we may be getting at are that there are different types of love. Your text addresses different types of love in detail, which are Lee's love styles, eros, mania, agape, etc. And so I want to tell you again, what each of these mean and what those kind of love styles look like. So ludus, for example, is kind of a game playing love. It's seeing love as a game, juggling multiple partners, low intimacy. Pragma is a logical and rational type of love. Partners tend to assess each other on the basis of rewards and costs. So for example, economic security, being with a partner who's can take care of you. That's seen as a reward of a relationship. Eros, which is a passionate and romantic love. It's very intense emotional and sexual feelings. Mania is a very intense emotional and sexual passion, but it's kind of out of control. It's very possessive, dependent, and there's a lot of jealousy with this type of love. Storge is a calm and soothing, non-sexual love devoid of passion. So sometimes this is what kind of love we think about with our close friends. And then agape is a selfless and giving love, kind of expecting nothing in return. And this is similar to the love parents have for children. So, falling in love. Under what conditions do we fall in love? Some scholars have written about this concept called love readiness. There's no empirical proof, but this kind of suggests that a state of mind may exist that increases the probability of falling in love. That state of mind includes a few things. So, first, that love is viewed as desirable and rewarding. Second, that there's a longing for interpersonal intimacy and companionship. And third, the belief that you can be loved, that you are worthy of love. The text also talks about some other conditions. These include things like societal norms and social pressures. These influence who we fall in love with, as well as how much we value love as a condition for marriage. So, for example, 95% of us fall in love with someone who is the same race as we are. And same-sex attractions are often met with disapproval. However, this sentiment has been changing pretty steadily over time. Another condition includes having a good self-concept or higher self-esteem. So again, feeling worthy of being loved. An additional condition includes the ability to self-disclose, or really this is your ability to allow others to see the real you and actually be emotionally vulnerable with another person. And also there's something labeling physiological arousal as love. So a lot of times on these reality TV shows you can see examples of this. Also, I don't know if you guys have heard this advice, but I know that I have. For example, they suggest going on advice columnists suggest going on a very exhilarating first date, like to a theme park or something exciting, so that these physiological arousal things are attributed to your romantic relationship. There are also some gender differences and similarities. So, for example, men actually tend to fall in love easier than women. Early in a relationship, men report higher amounts of love for their partners than vice versa. Men also tend to say "I love you" earlier than women and enter a relationship because of a desire to fall in love. Women, on the other hand, experience more emotional symptoms of love, such as feelings of giddiness or walking on air. And these kind of symptoms, that sounds negative, but it's not, contribute to our perceptions of women being more quick to fall in love. So, Sternberg's triangular view of love. If you guys want to, there's under the section where you found this PowerPoint, there's also a little quiz you can take to test yourself. There's 45 questions, 15 for each component. So you answer them, I think it's out of 9, and you rate the extent to which these qualities are more or less similar to you. And then after you complete it, you total up your score for each section. And there's a scoring guide at the bottom. And then you divide by 15 to get the average. And that kind of shows you where you stand in this sort of triangle. So this Sternberg's love triangle has 3 dimensions: passion, intimacy, and commitment. Commitment is a cognitive component, and this is defined as a decision to maintain the love relationship with the partner both now and in the future. This develops over time. It begins slowly and then rapidly increases if the relationship is positive. Commitment can be expressed by moving to a more advanced stage of a relationship. So, for example, dating to engagement, engagement to marriage, by being faithful, or by staying in a relationship in a difficult time. Intimacy is an emotional component, and it's defined as one's ability to relate closely and personally to someone else. This includes sharing feelings and providing emotional support, and this intimacy component tends to gradually increase as the closeness grows and gains greater depth as a relationship matures. Passion is a motivational component. It's defined as sexual longing and is characterized by fulfilling sexual needs. This is usually expressed by touching, kissing, and being affectionate. But due to its intensity, passion develops quickly but can also fade quickly. So variability in levels of 3 different dimensions of love exists because they change over time the longer the couple stays together. So again, passion tends to build and then fade. Intimacy tends to build and then level off. And commitment is pretty gradual and then increases rapidly. And this is especially if the relationship is positive. So using these 3 dimensions of love in various combinations, 8 types of love relationships can be identified. These 8 combinations are arranged in a pattern that Sternberg suggests follows the development of many relationships. And this ranges from non-love, or the absence of intimacy, passion, and commitment, to consummate love, which is the presence of all 3 of these components: intimacy, passion, and commitment. So again, non-love is the absence of all 3, and a quote that kind of signifies that would be someone who doesn't even notice another person. Like, who? I didn't even notice him. Infatuation, which is passion only, is maybe just like a sexual attraction to someone or just wanting to be with them physically, but not having a close emotional relationship or being committed to keeping that relationship going. And there may not be an actual relationship, it could just be wanting someone. So liking is characterized by intimacy only. And this might be someone who you are talk to and get along with and are able to emotionally disclose things with. Romantic love includes the intimacy and passion part. So this might be a nice couple relationship. However, it may not have established a commitment. So It might be seen as temporary by the partners. But again, commitment, as I said earlier, can develop over time, especially if both partners see the relationship as positive. So, companionate love is characterized by intimacy and commitment. And this could be something like a best friend relationship where you have a lot of emotional disclosure and you're committed to maintaining that relationship, but there isn't necessarily a sexual component or passionate component. Fatuous love is characterized by passion and commitment. So this might be someone who really wants to be in a relationship, or they may be in a relationship, but there may not be that emotional component. So empty love is commitment only. And you may have seen examples of this type of relationship on TV or heard about it, but this might be a couple who chooses to stay together for other reasons, such as their children, but they don't really have a close romantic relationship. And then consummate love, again, which is, I think, what most people aspire to have, is characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment. And this is, again, someone really wanting to be with their romantic partner for the long haul. So I hope you guys got all the notes down. Again, you can get the slides online, and printing them out might help you take notes. And Dr. Helms, again, will cover love as a context for problems in your next class.